Hi, my dear friend. I'm Xavia. Thank you for tuning in to the Heal and Grow podcast today. If you're listening to this episode, chances are your mind is tired, your heart feels heavy, and you're looking for a moment to breathe. In this world, the only people who don't need healing are the ones who never dared to feel. And we both know that's not how life works. Every heart has cracked somewhere. Every soul has a story it hides between breaths. So let me say this clearly before we begin. Needing healing is not a flaw. It is the proof that you've lived, loved, and felt deeply. It is not weakness. It is humanity. Today, we're going to walk through the 5 simplest yet most powerful steps to heal yourself emotionally and mentally. First, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and gently ask yourself, what am I truly feeling right now? Is it sadness? Is it anxiety? Is it disappointment, loneliness, or exhaustion? Whatever it is, don't run from it. Emotions only become frightening when you turn your back on them. The moment you find the courage to name what you feel, your brain stops treating it like a threat. This isn't just a poetic idea. It's how your nervous system actually works. When you avoid your emotions, your brain labels them as unknown danger. And unknown danger is the most stressful kind. It activates your fight or flight system, raises your cortisol levels, narrows your thinking, and makes your emotions feel heavier and more overwhelming than they truly are. But when you name a feeling, even with the simplest sentence like, I'm anxious or I'm hurt, something important shifts inside you. Your brain moves from threat mode into processing mode, from chaos into clarity, from fear into understanding. You cannot soothe a feeling you refuse to acknowledge, and you cannot heal a wound you keep pretending isn't there. When you name your emotions, you bring them out of the dark and into the light. You give them shape, you give them boundaries, and you give your brain a clear signal. This is what we need to work with. That is the moment healing begins. Not when life magically becomes easier, but when you start telling yourself the truth. This is what I'm feeling. Clarity is the first step of healing. Honesty is the doorway. And naming your emotions is how you walk through it. Only when you finally acknowledge what hurts can you begin to heal what is hurting you. Next, you need to understand a core principle in every healing practice. Acceptance comes before release. When you have named your emotions, the next step is to allow them to be here in a safe and gentle way. Cry if you have been holding everything in for too long. Let your body release the pressure you have been carrying in silence. Write down the things that are weighing on your heart. When you place your sadness on paper, you can read it from the perspective of an observer instead of someone who is drowning inside it. Take a few slow, deep breaths to remind your body that you are here and that you are safe. There is a very simple way to truly connect with your emotions. Write 3 sentences that begin with I am. Start with, I am sad because. Do not overthink it. Let your hand write whatever appears first. You will be surprised by how clear your sadness becomes once you let it speak. Then write, I am worried because. This helps pull your anxieties out of your mind instead of letting them spin endlessly and drain your energy. And finally, the most important one, I am needing. This sentence reveals the real need behind your emotions. Maybe you need rest. Maybe you need to be heard. Or maybe you simply need to feel safe again. These 3 sentences may seem simple, but they open a doorway. When you write them down, the emotions that were stuck inside you finally begin to move. And you feel lighter because you have allowed yourself to feel. I also want to be honest with you about something. For a very long time, I did not believe in any of this. I used to think that facing my emotions would make everything worse, that if I opened the door even a little, everything I had avoided would crash over me like a wave I could not survive. So I pretended I was fine. I distracted myself. I stayed busy. I smiled through days when my chest felt unbearably heavy. I convinced myself that being strong meant not feeling anything at all. Until one day, everything I had been holding in finally spilled out. It was not loud or dramatic. It happened quietly on an ordinary evening when I realized I could no longer outrun my own heart. In that moment, I learned the truth I am sharing with you now. Naming your emotions does not break you. Avoiding them does. When I finally sat down, breathed slowly, and wrote, "I am sad because," something softened inside me. My body stopped fighting itself. The emotions that once felt unbearable became something I could hold with gentleness instead of fear. That was the first time I understood that healing begins the moment you stop running from yourself. And when you have finished writing those 3 sentences, you will start to see something very clearly. Every emotion leads you back to a need inside yourself. This brings you to the next step, understanding what you truly need. Because anxiety, hurt, or sadness almost always come from an unmet need. A need to feel safe, a need to be loved, a need to be respected, or simply a need to be heard. There is something psychologists always remind us of. Every feeling is a met or unmet need. When you understand what you truly need, your emotions no longer feel like a storm crashing into you. They become a signal, a small but honest reminder that something important inside you is asking for attention. Sometimes that need is simpler than you think. A hug, a moment to rest and recharge, a night of real sleep, or simply someone who truly understands what you are going through. When you understand your real need, your pain is no longer the enemy. It becomes a map guiding you back to yourself. When you understand what you need on the inside, the next step is just as important: taking care of your body. You know, your body and mind are never separate. When your breathing is short, your mind automatically becomes faster, more reactive, and more negative. But when you take a deep breath, your body immediately sends a signal to your brain that you are safe. Just by breathing deeply, your anxiety softens, and your mind becomes much calmer. Your body is the home of your mind and emotions. We often think healing is only an emotional process, but sometimes it begins with simple things. A full night of sleep, a warm glass of water, a 5-minute walk in the sunlight, or a hot meal. When your body is cared for, your mind naturally settles down. That is why on some days, sleeping 1 extra hour, or sitting quietly with a warm drink, can make you feel half better already. Healing does not always come from big realizations. Sometimes it begins with treating your body kindly, bit by bit. And you know, For a long time, many of us believed we had to be strong on our own. We believed that sharing our struggles meant weakness, and leaning on someone meant being a burden. But the truth is the opposite. No one is born to handle everything alone. Humans are made for connection, to support one another, to remind each other that you do not have to walk through life by yourself. And science has shown this clearly. A genuine conversation can reduce anxiety and stress almost instantly. Just opening your heart to someone, whether it is your partner, a longtime friend, a family member, or simply someone you trust enough to listen without judgment, can make a real difference. Even a single conversation can help your body release oxytocin, the hormone that calms your nervous system and helps you feel safer in your own body. If you cannot get through everything on your own, pause when you are too tired. Reach out to someone when your heart feels too heavy, and allow yourself to receive support. Because sometimes, true strength is not found in enduring everything alone. It is found in having the courage to speak your pain, the trust to let someone in, and the kindness to stop forcing yourself to carry more than you can. And in the end, if you are still wondering, how do I heal myself emotionally and mentally? The answer is not found in one single step. It lies in the small things you have done throughout this journey. Recognizing your emotions, allowing them to be felt, understanding your true needs, caring for your body as a safe home, and finding a supportive connection when you cannot carry everything alone. You only need to choose one small thing to begin with today. I am truly curious to know, what is one small way you choose to love yourself today? Share it with me in the comments. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. I will see you in the next episode of the Heal and Grow podcast. Good night, my friend.